you look at what people understand about asylum destitution, is totally opposite to what is exactly happening to asylum seekers. People rely on media representation of asylum seeking instead of knowing the actual facts and figures of asylum seekers who are out there.
People who claim asylum have no entitlement to mainstream benefits. In most instances, they're not allowed to work, only if they've been here for a certain period of time and they get work permission, and then work is restricted to certain occupations, so that makes that area very difficult. So asylum seekers are reliant upon asylum support. If their case is refused and appeal dismissed, then they will become destitute after 21 days. And it isn't always feasible or obvious for people to be able to leave the country. In that case, people become destitute. People also become destitute even when they win their status, in that they're not able to access benefits. And there are people at the beginning of the process who haven't yet claimed asylum, are expected to travel to Croydon to claim asylum, and haven't got the means to do so from Manchester. So there's many instances where destitution becomes the core of people's lives.
Destitution makes you lose your self-esteem and makes, it's like a double tragedy, especially to asylum seekers. One, they are a minority community in the UK. Two, they are already carrying a stigma of being asylum seekers. Then it becomes worse when they are destitute because they can't work, they can't get any benefits from the state. Some of them don't even have relatives, so that can rely on charities. And then furthermore, they become vulnerable to, like women, they can be vulnerable to sexual abuse because they'll be desperate, so they can take anything that comes their way in order to get a shelter over their heads. For men, most of them, they end up in drugs, sleeping rough.
We decided to organise this day in conjunction with the Asylum Support Appeals Project to invite local people to come and find out more. We invited our clients and service users to come along, and also all the different organisations that we work with on the issue. We invited other people in the Asylum Centre to find out what ASHA does. There's many organisations around in Hume and Moss Side to come and find out. And we had a very successful day, about 60 people attended.
Really pleased to be here doing some work with ASHA. I'm really pleased as a debt in the region. ASHA does some amazing work, very tenacious around asylum support appeals. I focus on Section 4 support because, in a nutshell, it's an area of support that is open to some groups of refused asylum seekers, but it is very difficult to get and very difficult to maintain when you're on it. And there's very poor decision making around Section 4 applications, which causes a very high number of appeals. And my session really was to enable people to understand as fully as possible those who might qualify for support, and then they will go on and assist those people into support and get them out of destitution.
Well, we're trying to get across to people an understanding of when asylum support as an asylum seeker will end, and what the possibilities are under Section 4, what the regulations are, what destitution means. It's quite a complex area of law, and we wanted people to understand that.
Well, it was one of those places that were not even fit for a normal human being to live, but I lived there for about 2 years.
The one thing I would really like people to take away from this day is how the devastating effect destitution has on people's lives. And I think Virginia, who spoke, really demonstrated that very eloquently. It wreaks havoc with people's lives, their self-esteem, a sense of self-worth, how they get the thoughts that dominate their days, the next meal, where are they going to sleep that night. So you have no room, or they have no room in their minds for anything else except day-to-day survival. So I think if people take that away today and that has an impact on them, then it will motivate them hopefully to go on and, help in this area.
The one thing that I'd like people to take away from today is greater awareness about destitution for asylum seekers, and to be able to spread the word on to their family and friends, where there's a lot of myths around asylum seekers. Already today, some people think that asylum seekers get everything, all the benefits.
Among the same destitute asylum seekers, you'll find that doctors, nurses, name whatever profession, they are there in the streets as destitute. But the UK government itself is going out in the same countries where there are doctors here and employing people there. Then you think, what's the point? They've got doctors at their disposal. They can't use them.
There is a lot of stigma and discrimination around HIV. It's still out there, people, they say AIDS.
I've been aware of ASHA's work for some years now, and my understanding watching them develop is they've developed a real specialty in asylum support and who qualifies, particularly Section 4. And in addition, they've also built up a real specialism in asylum support appeals and do them of a very high standard. And it's good that we have somebody in this region so focused on issues such as asylum support appeals, because they're complex and they need a lot of attention. And I think my understanding is that they've become well known for this area of work, and it's a much needed area of work because there's not many people specialising in asylum support appeals.
ASHA has helped me so much, because when I got to that stage of destitution, ASHA helped me to make an application for Section 4, made sure everything was fine, anything that I needed pertaining my case, ASHA was there to help. And then what I know about ASHA, they work extra hard to help destitute asylum seekers, because even if people came around 5 to 5, when they're about to knock off, according to how I know Tony, you will wait until he makes it a point that that person has got a roof over his head or her head.
I'd like greater awareness. I'd like people to pass the word on, and I'd like people to campaign and act on that knowledge.
Oh my, oh my, oh, oh my, oh my, oh, when shall I see my own Sion? When shall I see my native land? I will never forget my own. We must home. Oh my, oh my, oh, oh my, oh, when shall I see my own Sion? When shall I see my native land? I will never forget my own. We need